All right, welcome back to NADA 2022, coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada.
All right.
All right.
Hey.
We're with Albert Thompson, Driven IQ, at the booth number 6943N. So come see us while the show is still going on, which is only until 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Get over here.
Not a lot of time. And
Gotta
we have
get
our
your swag on.
distinguished guest, Rachel Blatt with Royalty Logistics. Welcome,
Hi,
Rachel.
everybody. Thank you,
Rachel,
guys.
thank you.
Thanks for having me. Really
Oh,
appreciate
you're
it.
more than welcome. So today, it's more important than ever. I have cars, one here, two over there, and I need to get them to the other place fast. I need to pick up cars from customers. I need to ship them to dealerships, all of that. And you being a logistics professional can give us a little insight on what some of the best practices are, or some of the things that you're seeing out there as far as challenges and things like that.
Well, right now, it's very challenging in our marketplace. There is the prices with the gas, and what's happening is they're going up every week, and it's pretty crazy. So, I think a lot of dealerships, as they're passing on the cost to their customers, there's really no more deals in transportation anymore. If you want to get your cars there fast, you got to pay the piper. And these truckers, they're going out of business very quickly because of the fuel. And we just have to make sure that we protect these guys and make sure that they're getting paid. It's a very specialized business, auto hauling. This is the only truck driving business where they're actually they unload and unload their own trucks. So, and they're just out there trying to make their money, and they're putting their lives on the line. I always say, we're not the ones doing the tightrope on top of a semi, and we just got to make sure that we take care of our drivers and treat them right, so they stay in business and keep delivering our cars fast for us.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought this up, because one of the things, Paul, we've talked to a couple other logistics companies, right? And you were the first one to really talk about the impact to the bottom line with the fuel pricing. And I think that's an interesting concept to talk about is how fuel really is impacting logistics and moving vehicles, and what does that really mean then for the end user, the consumer? How does that impact the cost to actually transport vehicles, but B, the dealer in terms of their cost to acquire and move vehicles, and then ultimately, right, how does that impact the end user?
Right. And the reality is that we have to get it done, right? And so, if you want to watch your cost, you're going to just have to wait a little bit longer too for your vehicles. I mean, there is no, especially with everybody buying one here, two there. We just talked about that. It's very difficult to kind of merge those into truckloads again. And some of these guys, they're, everybody wants to move their cars quickly, and they're going to pay. People are going to pay. So it's a very competitive market right now, and other dealers are competing against other dealers to get their cars home quick so they can sell them faster.
Is there a shortage of truckers as well?
Yeah, so we think that we've lost about 15% of we were already tiny. Auto hauling was already tiny in the first place. And we talked to many different companies, and they're going into, because there's already a shortage of truck drivers, period. Lots of these guys are retiring anyway.
Okay.
But so if you have anybody in the younger generation, tell them to go into truck driving. But they're delivering cattle, they're delivering fuel, they're going into other businesses where it's a little bit more stabilized and they can make more money.
So I guess the takeaway is, if you get a bid that's really low and it seems, oh, that's a really, really great deal, you might never see that trucker.
That's true. And I always tell people, like, whether you do business with me or not, make sure you do your homework. Okay. And, even as a big company like we are, they overbook themselves, things get delayed. And then I always say there's like so many variables on the road itself, right?
Right.
Traffic, weather, people on their cell phones, cutting off drivers. I mean, it's just, it's scary out there. And so,
Yeah, you brought up a really good point, and I think that was I like your humility to that, right? Whether you do business with me or not, you're providing the audience, right, some really good tips. Good. So why don't we do that? If I'm an auto dealer or I'm a consumer out here and I'm watching and I do need to transfer my vehicle, what What would you say are the 2 or 3 things for homework that I should do? Like, what would you recommend being an industry expert?
Being an industry expert, I ask, like, what happens a lot is, we get calls from referrals, right? So who do you know that's good, and a reputation around that, right? The reviews, sometimes if you're shipping it yourself, you want to make sure that their insurance is up to date. You want to make sure that they have a positive rating. You just want to make sure that they're a good company, a good, reliable company. There's a lot of people out there like me that are doing this, but, some are better than others, right? We are very good in the Midwest and in the South, but sometimes we're not as great on the West Coast, we're getting better, but there might be another company that's great on the West Coast. So, I would say to just make sure you do homework and ask your friends what, who they use, and just continue it out there and go do the business,
That's a good point to check the insurance, because
Yep.
insurance is a very costly expense.
Yep.
And I would imagine that if somebody is just kind of hanging on, insurance might be the first thing they cut, or one of
Yep.
the first things they cut.
Yes.
And then what happens to your car?
Mhm.
God forbid something happens.
Yes, and I've ran into many dealerships that have not done their due diligence. They just kind of sent it through and have been burned very badly. And sometimes insurance claims, they can take up to 6 months to get your money back. And so, it's really good. Our company, we have double insurance. So if we, God forbid, didn't check their insurance, our insurance checks in. So
Okay.
that's sometimes why it's important. People don't understand, why do we use a broker? I'm going to go cut through. Well, it's because of them. It's because of,
Cut
we
your
take on the
liability.
liability.
Right. I really like what you talked about with insurance. As a consumer, right, share your cars, you don't even think to say, hey,
Don't even think
let
about
me
it.
check the policy. And then the other
Yeah.
thing too is, it's as consumers or even dealers, and we're consumers ourselves, right?
Sure.
But we're always so price conscious. And you were even saying one of the things that was so great was like, hey, maybe I'm not great on the West. Maybe
Right,
I've got
right.
better rates because I got this load in the Midwest, right? So it's not always about price, right?
It's not always about price. And, we always say, like, price and time are like married together, right?
Yeah.
Great.
The higher you pay, the quicker it'll go. You're out there bidding against everybody else. So it comes down to that. Another thing with the insurance, I just want to go back to that, is to check the amount too. Okay, 'cause
The
even
limits
if
of liability.
The limits of liability. Okay?
Great.
So you do not want to ship a Bentley with somebody that has $100,000 policy.
Right.
But,
That makes sense.
I've
Yeah.
seen some of these commercial ads where, it's you determine the price, but they'll sell you a $40,000 policy. Where are you going with that?
Right.
Exactly. And, we love driving it. We're having fun. It's a good business. And we met a lot of great dealers at this conference today. And I'm sure you did too.
Yeah.
And good to sit down with friends for sure and talk about our business, because it's an essential thing. And it is becoming a huge pain point for so many people at this conference. We had so many people come up to us and really just share that, their struggles, their pain points, as all these companies are growing too, and they're getting more sophisticated with their transportation. So it's a lot more dispersed. It's a lot more dealer to dealer. It's a lot more consumer to dealer.
Right.
A lot of these brick and mortar auctions are going away, and
Right.
and it's just making it a very fun and exciting business, but challenging for sure.
One question I have, and I just thought about this, but I think as a logistics company, you probably have a fairly good pulse of what the inventory looks like in terms of, the market, right? I mean, from a logistics standpoint, right? You
Right,
got to
right.
imagine, they're seeing the auctions, they're seeing dealer lots.
You know where they're going.
And they know where, so you've got a much broader kind of like bird's eye view of what the market's doing. What's it look like for you guys out there?
Bleak, sorry to say, but I mean, my guys.
we know
I
what
mean,
You
you're
can't get
talking
any
about.
more honest than
know.
that.
Right. Okay.
And I feel bad but these everybody's getting a little bit more creative though too. Like they're buying
Good.
more for the consumer. They're using companies like Car Offer and
Drive
Drive
bid.
Bid, it's coming out. Yes,
the first
and
choice
so
like
platform,
everybody
yes.
is kind of getting a little bit more creative on where to get their inventory. And my secret sauce is always putting my network together, to buy and sell. And
Yeah.
I think that
It's
is
a great secret sauce.
one of the things that really makes us special, is just putting our people together and letting it go from there. yeah, it's a great time. So,
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Yes,
so
thank you
much.
so
More
much.
importantly-
Appreciate it very much.
If somebody wants to get a hold of you, I know you are huge on text. What number
Yeah.
would they reach out to you? And say that loudly
So-
for the audience.
I'm on text is the best way to get me. My cell phone is 248-417-9887. That gets me direct. And I can't wait to talk to you. And thank you so much, Paul, for everything. And
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I appreciate you so much.
I'm so
Yep.
excited.
Thank
and
you.
thank you.
Awesome. Well, have a successful what's left of the show.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you.